Hey y'all, it's January the 4th, 2018. And y'all, so far we discussed so many things, and so many things have come to light that's pretty hard to summarize, but just to, I guess, take up where we left off at, to describe everything in broad brushstrokes. Basically, we understand that in Silicon Valley, there's a world of confusion, sexually speaking. Uh, there's all sort of ambiguity. There's all sort of women being oppressed and manipulated, sexually speaking, all over the place. In fact, in a totally on a totally different level, it seems. All right, and we've discussed that, although this article doesn't bring it up, it's very secretive in nature. It's very virtue signaling in nature. It's very effeminate and disgusting. But not only is it secretive in nature as far as men absolutely holding down young ladies in the industry, not only is it that, but it's so secretive that obviously homosexual orgies do happen. And you can say, oh, I don't have a problem with the homosexual orgies. Whatever, me neither. They can have them all day. I'm sure they have them at the Vatican on a weekly basis. I don't care. They could do it. Doesn't matter to me. But however, it does, because there's no line. There is no line. The line into what is sexually acceptable and not acceptable has, at this point, all but disappeared. There is no line. So it does continue, by the way, because it's meant to be a pioneering thing. It's meant to be something that nobody's ever done. We're breaking the chains of sexual liberation and stuff like this. That's what it's meant to do. There is no stopping point. It does go into children. It does go into pedophilic orgies. Absolutely, it does. All right, but we discuss all sort of things to include. We were talking about founder hounders now. Founder hounders, aka being gold diggers in the Silicon Valley area, who obviously are only having sex with these men who are barely men to get the money. All right, that's what they're doing. And so at the same time, these people who may very well rape folks, because we understand that happens. They're using the excuse of founder hounders to say, oh no, people are just alleging that I tried to rape them. People are alleging that I tried to Bill Cosby him and drug him. That's to say, I don't know that Bill Cosby, but the thing is, we're going to talk about Bill Cosby later on, and that does definitely tie into what's going on here. All right. They're saying that people are out to get him. All right, and so you might hear allegations about them that are unsubstantiated, and I'm sure in some situations that is true. But in a lot of situations, they're going to use that excuse to cover up their own transgressions upon young women and probably young men. So let's go ahead and continue. We're going to start off back where we ended in the article. And where we're starting off is Founder X, who's a male founder in the tech community. He's going to be giving you some insider information as far as founder hounders. He says this: what that adds up to is a great deal of ego at play. He says, it's awesome, says Founder X. At work, he explains that you're well funded. He says, when we go to our jobs and stuff, we make so much money that money is not even an object. He says, you're well funded. You have relative traction, meaning if you want it done, it's going to get done. You got money. People are going to do whatever the hell you say at work. So he says, you got that relative traction. He said, outside of work, why do I have to compromise? If everybody's breaking their back off at work to do exactly what I say, well, maybe they should be doing that in my real life, is what he's saying. He said, why should I have to compromise? Why do I have to get married? Why do I have to be exclusive? If you got a couple of girls interested in you, you could set the terms and say, this is what I want. You could say, I'm happy to date you, but I'm not exclusive. I'll be dating her and her and her and her and her as well. Or maybe I'll just keep it a secret. These are becoming table stakes for guys who couldn't get a girl in high school. And you notice how that's repeated over and over. That's the truest thing that you'll ever hear in this whole thing. The people, the men could not get female attention ever. It's not natural. And that's unfortunate. I don't wish for any guy to never get female attention because I understand that that might kick up rapes and things like this. I wish for men to just be more manly. All right, to include myself, I don't think I'm manly enough. All right, but we all have to work on that and think about it. We have to think about that sort of thing. All right, because a lot of us men out here have daughters, very young daughters, who could fall victim to this whole world of confusion and chaos and suicidal nature and just not ever being happy with their own lives. So, anyways, we're going to read a little bit further. The article says this. Furthermore, these elite founders, CEOs, and VCs see themselves as more influential than most hot shit bankers. All right, that's the terminology used in this article. They see themselves as so influential. These people, you would call that maybe narcissism. Typically, at the same time, they do push around big amounts of money, so you could give them credit for, yeah, they do have influence in certain kind of ways. So, but they see themselves as so influential that it does set them apart from the rest of humanity. You might say, oh, they're a different species in their own mind. That's their own opinion, typically. All right, they see themselves as more influential, kind of the behavior that you'll see in the Big Bang Theory. They see themselves as so grandiose, so influential. They're more influential than hot shit bankers, actors, and athletes will ever be. And here's the reasoning: we have more cachet than a random rich dude because we make products that touch a lot of people. Says Founder X. You make a movie. Right? And people watch it for a weekend. All these people, movie producers, whatever, they get money. People watch their movie for a weekend. You make a product, which is what happens in Silicon Valley. That's what it is. It's making products. And it touches people's lives for years. Not only that, all sort of people buy it. They'll be buying the crap out of it for years. For years, you'll be constantly getting this income that's not necessarily experienced by other people with lesser amounts of money, right? Basically, what I'm just trying to say is, in Silicon Valley, they're making an amount of money that's even more than your damn Kardashians, right? Than most of your celebrities and your athletes, way more. And that's what this guy's trying to enunciate right now, is that they have, not only do they make way more money, which is what I'm establishing, what he's saying is in their minds, he feels like they're altogether more influential and therefore should altogether be more privileged, I guess, in a sense. In their minds, they separate themselves in that regard. They see everybody else as not influential at all and forget about those people. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I'm going to expand myself sexually. Anyways, we're going to dive further into the article. At least on a financial level, Founder X has a point. Like I said, I forgot that basically Emily Chang totally agrees with me in saying that on a financial level, Founder X does have a point. They make so much more money than a lot of these politicians, than most of them, than most of the athletes, than most of the celebrities. They make buku bank all day long, absurd amounts. All right. So in that case, they are more influential than the other people with less money. So the payouts of an A-list actors and the Wolves of Wall Street just aren't that impressive among. I mean, you're talking about Wall Street bankers. Don't get. Do you remember the Wolf of Wall Street? They don't get the kind of money Silicon Valley people get. Just to describe how absurd it is. All right. Managing directors at top-tier investment banks may pocket $1 million, and a lot of people think that's a lot. Not ain't. He says, managing directors at top-tier investment banks may pocket $1 million a year and be worth tens of millions after a long career. They might be. Early employees at tech firms like Uber, Airbnb, and Snapchat can make many times that amount in the matter of years on one product. Meanwhile, they can work on other products and get absurd amount of money. Forget your Wolf of Wall Street. These people make real money. All right? So celebrities such as Ashton Kutcher, Jared Leto, and Leonardo DiCaprio, it's important to note, have jumped on that power train. And they have a lot of money. Promise you. And now They make personal investments in tech companies, and that's obviously a really good thing to do. If you want to get money, that's the most perfect way. The basketball great Kobe Bryant started his own venture capital firm. LeBron James has rebranded himself as not just an athlete, but also an investor and an entrepreneur. What I want to explain is, obviously, these celebrities getting this money that we think, oh, that's all. They're so rich and it's so amazing. Hell no, that's nothing. The Floyd Mayweathers and people out there, the athletes who understand that, you know what, this entertainment money don't mean shit. If I invest in places like Silicon Valley where they're making some stuff, oh my God, that's a totally different level. And it is. Of riches and privileges and, of course, ladies and all the rest. Alright, so let's continue with the article. But never success and happiness, you notice that. It's never enough. With famous actors and athletes wanting to get into the tech game, it's no surprise that some in the Valley have a high opinion of their attractiveness and what they should expect or deserve in terms of their sex lives. They get all rambunctious. They get very narcissistic. They start demanding things. Why? Because people give them the things when they demand it. You almost can't even blame them. Right? In the Valley, this expectation is often passed off as enlightened. They find themselves to be so enlightened. It's a contribution to the evolution of human behavior. Again and again, they'll repeat this. We're more enlightened. We're breaking the chains. Everybody's becoming sexually liberated. Meanwhile, every last orgiatic behavior and thing that you've done has been done before, thousands of times before, probably millions. You're stupid to think that you're ever going to do something that hasn't been done before. It has been done before. You're being silly and stuff. But the thing is, the people are looking for happiness. They're never going to get it, but they're going to be chasing it through their sexual endeavors and things like this. The more I get, the more and more I get, the more and more I get, maybe I'll be happy. No, it's not going to work that way, unfortunately. So, just to continue, for many women who describe it, however, it's a new immaturity. They see it as a new immaturity for women who describe it. We're talking about the behavior you see on The Big Bang Theory. They call it a new immaturity, sexist behavior dressed up with a highfalutin talk that reinforces traditional power structures. Alright? And it does demean women. And it boosts some of the biggest male egos in history. Just another manifestation of Brotopia, which is a book that Emily Chang wrote called Brotopia. I'm sure you can get it in Barnes & Nobles and stuff all over the place. You might want to check it out. Because, I mean, this is a long article, but she wrote a whole book about it. When I spoke about Silicon Valley's sex parties, in the words of Emily Chang, specifically those where women vastly outnumber men, with Elizabeth Sheff, a Chattanooga-based writer and professor who has spent 2 decades researching open relationships, her reaction was heated, and I don't blame her. Right? So, what Miss Sheff, Elizabeth Sheff, had to say is that is exploitation. Their whole immaturity, this and that, their sexist way of thinking about things, holding women down. She says that is exploitation. That's old school, fuffed up, masculine arrogance. And I would agree. It is. And borderline prostitution, to which I would totally agree. She said, the men don't have to prostitute themselves, you notice. Because they have the money, you understand? And she said, I should be able to have sex with a woman because I'm a rich guy. That's basically what they're thinking, right? So that is not even one particle progressive in the eyes of Elizabeth Sheff. She doesn't view that as progressive. In fact, she views that as very traditionalist, as very men holding it down ladies, to which I would agree. She said, that is the same tired bullshit. Says, only Chef, and she said the word, but said, that's some old bullshit. She says, it's trying to blend the new and keeping the old attitudes. And those old attitudes are based in patriarchy. All right, which she doesn't like. And of course, we have our differences on that. Me and Elizabeth Chef, we don't necessarily agree. But she said that's based on patriarchy. So they come at the expense of women. And to that note, I would agree. I would say, yes, it does come to the expense of women. Absolutely. And this is where me and probably a feminist, Elizabeth Chef, totally agree. That this does come at the expense of women. It is explicit. It is apparent the more that you look at it. However, we're not supposed to know about that or think about that. It's not in the news on the television, is it? No. They don't want to talk about that, do they? No, they want to talk about your low-level celebrities and how they be getting away with stuff, and we need to crack down on them. Meanwhile, these people have way more money and power that we're talking about. And they're a lot more demanding. And they're not naturally manly at all. And they don't draw a line as to what is sexually appropriate and not appropriate. And we're going to continue this on another video. It's a very long article. I'll holler at y'all. It's January the 4th, 2018.